it's time for News Extra on KNEB here at 10 before 8. Our update is brought to you by Gering Civic Center. Here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. We have Deb Serda here as our guest today. She is the Regional West Medical Center Stroke Coordinator, and she's doing a lot of community education about what kind of things you should look for with a stroke and all those other type of things. Welcome, Deb.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. You bet. All right. So you're doing a lot of community education, and first of all, one of the big statistics is that stroke is really a leading cause of death both among men and women, right?
That is true, yes. In women, it's the third leading cause of death, and in men, the fourth. And one other statistics that might surprise people is more women will die of stroke this year than of breast cancer.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very important that we know about the signs and symptoms, because the faster we act, stroke is treatable. We want you to get to the emergency room, and it's best if you do call 911 because they can notify us in advance that you're coming in with stroke-like symptoms.
And that's very important that you guys know so you can get ready, right?
Yes, and we have a protocol that when you get there, we will know what to do, and we will get it done quickly.
All right. All right. Some of the things that you need to be watching for if you suspect a stroke, either you're having one or you're watching somebody else having one.
Yes.
What are those things?
Well, first of all, it's just an acronym that we use, and we use FAST, and that's facial weakness, maybe a droopy smile, a tongue that is, when they stick it out, it is not even on both sides. Arm weakness, but it could be a leg too, and sometimes it's not even weakness, it's numbness, or it feels heavy. Speech problems, maybe they're speaking clearly but it's incoherent. They may ask you really goofy questions, and that may be a sign of stroke. It's a brain attack, and of course T is time, call 911.
All right, bring us. So those are very important things you need to know, right?
Yes. It could happen to anybody, anywhere. We think of this as an older person disease process, but actually can happen in the younger people too.
Yeah. If you have any kind of history of heart problems or anything like that,
yes,
you're kind of probably, you might be immune. You might have this problem, right?
Yeah, it's very closely related to cardiovascular, because most of our strokes are a blood clot in a blood vessel in the brain, and that's what happens when you have a heart attack. Also, it's a blood clot that is obstructing the blood flow to certain parts of the organ.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we can bust those clots up, and we have a medication for that.
All right. We'll talk more about this right after this break.
Talk about experience. The Gering Civic Center has hosted over 1 million satisfied attendees in its 23-year history. We are going the extra mile every day to ensure every event goes off without a hitch. Ask anyone that has hosted an event at the Gering Civic Center, and they will tell you that our staff goes the extra mile to meet their needs. We are professional hosts who make sure everything is taken care of. Call 436-6888 or visit GeringCivicCenter.com and like us on Facebook.
We're back on News Extra, and we're talking with Deb Serda. She is the stroke coordinator for Regional West Medical Center, and one of her jobs is to educate the public about strokes and what you should be looking for, and if you've had a stroke, what kind of things are available at the hospital to help you out. If you have had a stroke, what kind of things are available at the hospital? There's a lot of different things, right?
There are. First of all, we have the emergency room that is specially treated. Our ICU meets every qualification to be a stroke unit. We have the acute rehab on 4th floor, and that is also certified and holds a certification, and they will work with you in whatever your deficits are. And then we have a stroke group that meets twice a month at the hospital, because this is an ongoing thing. Stroke is the leading cause of disability in the United States, and we want to have good outcomes. We want people to go home and have the best quality of life they can.
All right. So just because you had a stroke doesn't mean your life's over. You can recover, right?
We really, yes, a lot of things. We have therapists of all sorts that will help with any deficit you have, and will have done this a lot. They're very experienced. We have a lot of people who have strokes.
That support group, by the way, meets the second Tuesday of each month, 11:30 to 12:30 over at the Scottsbluff 1 meeting room. Right there as you walk in on the north side. You just kind of take a quick left and then another quick right, and it's there. And you get lunch too.
You get lunch, and if you can't, if you get inside the hospital building, everybody knows where to have you go. So they will take you to where you need to be.
All right, very good. Let's go through once again these signs that people need to look for if you are having a stroke or you're seeing somebody else have one.
Yes, facial weakness, arm weakness or leg weakness, numbness, tingling, and speech problems. And T is time. Call 911.
Yep, right away.
Right away. Our EMS people are very trained in recognizing signs and symptoms of stroke.
So what is the other symptoms? There's headaches and stuff like that?
And these are kind of the atypical. They're a little harder to pick up on, and we always want to think about them happening suddenly. Sudden numbness, confusion, trouble seeing, trouble walking, or a severe headache. And that people will describe that maybe as the worst headache of their life, and that could be a hemorrhagic stroke also, which is not as common, but again, we can treat that. So
all those things, right? You
all
have to
those things.
Kind of look for. And once again, the support group is 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., second Tuesday of each month over at the Scottsbluff 1 meeting room. All right, very good. If anybody has any questions about this, how do they call?
You can call the hospital and ask to be connected to the stroke coordinator, or my direct number is 630-1854.
630-1854.
Yes, and I would be glad to speak to any group about that. I never get tired of talking about stroke prevention and treatment.
All right, very good. Thanks for coming in, Deb.
Thank you.
I think everybody learned a lot, or if they knew about this, they got reminded what to look for.
That's right.
In this kind of situation. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.